Welcome to the first edition of the event preview show. We have Jeff Hutchison with us, owner of the Backdoor Surf Shop chain, the power behind this week's event, the Backdoor King and Queen of the Point, presented by Quiksilver, Roxy and the WSL, taking place from Wednesday, so only a couple of days out, running through till Sunday the 19th. Given the Cero New Zealand Pro presented by Bonsoy is only a month out, the King and Queen is tightly tied to that, and we have two wildcards on the offering as well. So we thought maybe it'd be cool to do a little preview show and just have a little bit of a discussion on what this week's event's going to look like. Plenty to discuss, debate, analyse, so let's get stuck in. Thanks for jumping online, Hutch.
Sounds good. I'm up for it. All good.
Cool. You've been one of the biggest supporters of surfing in New Zealand for a number of years through Backdoor. You've also competed. You're competing this week. You might be able to tell everyone a little bit about that as well. Give us a bit of background about the event and also how it's unfolded to be so closely tied to the WSL.
Yeah, sure. So the King and Queen of the Point has been around for only a few years, and we sort of popped up into the scene post. We were doing a grommet comp in the late, just before 2020, before the COVID times. We were doing grommet comps, and we moved on to open comps, and Rip Curl was doing an annual Raglan event, and they kind of slowly faded out of the scene, and we jumped into their spot effectively, and we talked to Quiksilver, and they were very keen to come on board, and it was their idea effectively to be the King and Queen of the Point, and it's something that's resonated, and a lot of people are quite keen to be the king and quite keen to be the queen, and so that's where we are today.
Nice. And what's on the line? Prize money in the wild cards? Talk about that.
Prize money is probably, I think it is probably the largest prize money package in New Zealand history. So it's a really large, I think we're talking about $15,000 New Zealand dollars for prize money for the open men's and women's divisions. And on top of that, the winner of the men's and the winner of the women's will become wild cards into the WCT event in middle of May.
Yeah, and those, I mean, shoot, they're going to join Billy Stearman for a start, which is awesome. There's only been, on my count, 6 Kiwis that have been in the CT events so far. Cool. It's the prestige of going in that, but also the prize money for them, I think it's 10,000 US for the guys and 13 US for the girls. So you're not only getting that chance to compete against the best, but they pick up a nice little prize purse as well.
Totally. Yep. No, that's an awesome result, and it will be huge for surfing in New Zealand, I reckon.
Yeah, and I guess a sign of that is simply the numbers in the draw that we've got. So from my recollection, it'll be the biggest guys draw ever at 112, and we've got 30 females in the draw as well. So it's certainly attracted a lot of interest.
It's a huge draw. It's like there's 3 complete rounds of 16 heats in a row times 3. It's like we've got to go through 48 heats before we even get to a round of 32. And we've had open events in the past where we've started with a round of 32. But we've got to go through 48 heats before we even get to that. It's a phenomenal amount of heats to get through. Yeah,
totally. And it eclipses the Nationals. I think we were just 100 entries for the Nationals in the Open Men's. But it's really cool. It's cool to see a bunch of those names coming back, and and all the Groms giving it a go. So there's like a full mix of surfers, boys and girls as well. The forecast, everyone's obviously looking at the long range and how that's going to impact the schedule.
Yep, I am checking the forecasts 3 or 4 times every day. And I am in touch with Jerry from Surfline and in touch with James and just talking through various scenarios, but most of the models are landing in the same position now, and that looks like we have a pretty solid swell on Wednesday. The wind will be west to southwest, which means the faces are quite smooth. We're going to utilise obviously the high tide times when Manu Bay is incredibly surfable across a lot of different conditions, and so Wednesday is probably slightly problematic. Thursday looks like really nice conditions. Friday morning looks pretty good to a degree, and then the afternoon might get pretty messed up. Saturday and Sunday at this stage look quite northerly, but Manu Bay is still pretty surfable in the northerly at high tide. So we're just going to try and utilise all the best windows for, and I'll be honest, the open divisions are the one that really matters for this week, and because that's where the wildcards are on the line. So if the under-20s end up being put out into some rubbishy sort of conditions, that's just the way it's going to flow. We're going to utilise the best windows for the open, men's and women's, and the biggest problem is there's just so many open heats to get through before we get to the round of 32, and that's just what we've got to deal with. So we're definitely up first thing Wednesday morning.
Yeah, and for me, I thought the swell size and the winds have actually pulled back a bit on some of the forecasts that I've been looking at. So I thought that was quite a positive. And like you say, that northerly sometimes at Manu Bay, Mount Karioi can play funny games with that northerly, and it can be a lot less than what they forecast.
Correct. Often a northerly wind, for some reason, is not very strong on the point.
Yeah.
And so we'll just play it by ear every morning. We'll make a call every morning, and we'll kind of go, look, okay, this is what it looks like for now. And then we may even put the open on hold and go to under 20s. If it's deteriorating a bit, we might swap around a little bit. We're not going to be committed to going through an entire round, because 16 heats is a long time. That's like 5.5 hours. So if we really want to give the best opportunity for everybody, and when we get to quarterfinals onwards, I think we'd like to do 25-minute heats.
Yep. So everyone be warned that the schedule is flexible.
The schedule will be flexible. If you're in round 1 or round 2 of the open men's, you need to be ready to go on Wednesday. And if you're round 1 of the under 20s, you need to be ready to go on Wednesday. But if you're in the women's or round 3, you don't need to worry about Wednesday. We won't get to you.
Yeah. So looking at the talent and all the surfers there, some favourites for you. I mean, I mentioned before, I'm certainly like to look at the favourites. So Kihu, Elliott, Paige, Safi, Taylor Green as well for me. But in your mind, some of the favourites there? I've
got in my list, I have Caleb pretty high, Caleb Cutmore, because he is Raglan local and he is surfing very, very well. He might be a bit older now, but I've got Maz Quinn very, very highly rated. I surfed with Maz and a bunch of the CT guys recently when we've had a series of good swells in Raglan, and Maz was absolutely ripping. And in my view, I think he has all of the criteria of WCT surfing with speed, power and flow. And I think the judging for the King and Queen will be along the lines of the WCT judging. So power is very important, and Maz has all of that. So I've got Elliott and Kehu obviously as well, but I'm also putting Caleb and Maz in there.
Yeah, yep. And for the girls?
I haven't seen a lot of Taylor Green. I've seen her at Grom Comps in the past. I've seen her at Nationals. I have not seen her at Raglan. So I actually don't have much of an opinion on her. I've seen a lot of Paige, a lot of Safi. Both of them could be really strong. I think Alani locally is surfing really good. So I think I would back Alani as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Indy Lee Riddell is
Yep.
also surfing very good.
Yep.
Noticed her locally.
Always strong and fast.
Always strong. Yep.
Yeah. What throw out a few dark horses for us? Is it going to be one of the old guys? You know, is it a Bobby Hansen? Is it someone like that, or one of the young guys that's going to come through, or girls?
Bobby. Look, I haven't seen Bobby in Raglan for years, but I remember him doing a shoulder in Raglan years ago, and he surfs fast. He's dynamic. He's amazing. I'm going to go. My dark horses are Navrin Malone. Navrin was surfing incredibly well when all the CT pros were in town. He looked when you're paddling back out in the afternoon and the sun's in your eyes, and I'm watching someone coming towards me, and I thought, oh, that's Joel Vaughan, and it was actually Nav, and so he's one of my dark horses. I don't, if you're having someone way outside of left field, I like the look of Nick White. Put money on him. I know he's a dark horse, but he surfs Raglan really good.
Yeah.
I like the look of Alex Dives. Always surfed Raglan good. In the women's. Sorry, that's. Sorry, my phone just went. Excuse me for that. In the women's, is Alani a dark horse? I'm not sure. I think she's probably one of the key people that could take it. I actually like the look of Indy Lee Riddell.
Yep.
She's surfing really good, and just keep an eye on the TAB odds. That's all.
Yeah, no, I think for me, probably, and not so much a dark horse, but I guess to an extent would be Leah Miller, has spent a couple of years.
I forgot
Raglan.
about her.
Yep, based at Raglan as well.
I've surfed with her so much recently.
Yeah.
Well, I don't consider her a dark horse. I think she's one of the favourites.
Yeah.
I think she's absolutely could be right on her game, and she's surfing good, really good.
And talking about the TAB odds, I think it's going to be the second time ever that domestic surfing has had odds on it with the TAB, which is cool. Come about with the event being part of the WSL and interest in the wildcards, so that's awesome. Make sure you bet responsibly. But the odds are out and quite interesting, and we talked about them perhaps not following the exact seeding order that we had, so potentially they've done a bit of study, but I think it was Kehu Butler was the shortest there at 425, Elliot coming in at 475. For the girls, it was Taylor Green that was topping the list alongside Safi and Paige. I think they were paying $5.
Okay. I'd focus a bit more on the next level if I was betting. I'd be going, where's the $9, $10, $11, $12 odds?
Yeah.
And I'd put, look, I'm not a betting man, so don't ask me.
Yeah.
But I'd have a good look at that.
Yeah. And I guess if we are looking at form or previous form in terms of the past event winners, J. Piper Helian won it last year, which was really awesome to see.
He's not here.
Billy's won it 3 times.
He's not here.
Yeah, Daniel not here. Daniel Farr also not here. He's stuck in Aussie.
Is Daniel not coming?
No, he's not coming. He can't.
Is
make
he
it
pulled
on.
out?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep. So, and Luke Sederman has also won it twice. I think once at Ruapuki, to be honest. But if the surf's big and he gets his rig going, he could be not too bad as well. For the girls, Safi won it in 2025.
Yep.
Amy Brown has won it twice as well.
Yep.
Ella Williams once. She's getting married this weekend. Can't come. Paige has won it once before. Bree Bennett as well, and Kai Wolf. So a few of those names in the draw.
Yeah, I would. Bree's. I haven't seen much of Bree recently, but she's absolutely charging when it's solid, Amy's always surfed Raglan really good. Daniel, well, he's not here, so I didn't actually realise that. So, yeah, this will be really interesting.
Yep. And your son, Taylor Hutch, in there as well.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the first ones to get a 10 in some of those events at Raglan as well. So someone to look out for. And, there's a number of the girls that are coming back as well. Raiha's made, I think, 3 finals through there. For me, I think it's when you see Safi and Paige coming back to those New Zealand events, you get a gauge of how strong they are. And that for me was why I'd go for the Kehus and the Elliots that have that international experience. But
I'd put money.
Been...
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say I haven't seen Kobe Perkovic surf in person recently, but I've seen a lot of his clips. And he's a guy that I would go, whoa, he could be an absolute threat. Yeah. So Kobe Perkovic, out of all the Aussie guys, I know we've got Tane Bowden, we've got Corbin coming back, and I haven't seen those guys at Raglan for a while, and I'll no doubt see them tomorrow. So it's really hard to know where they land in terms of, hey, you guys have been going right for a long time. How's your backhand? And I wouldn't be at all surprised if we're blown away by how good they're surfing. So that could be an absolute surprise package. Yeah.
Cool. And looking at a live stream potentially as well, I've seen. So that's pretty good. There's some information around that.
We're putting the technical aspects together. We'll have all of the information in the next couple of days, but it looks like we're going to stream from the round of 32 onwards in the open divisions, and we're going to have a test stream on Wednesday. So we're going to play around with it. We're going to have interviews. We're going to have probably 2 camera positions. So we're trying to do it as best as we can, and we're going to embed the live heats scoring into the broadcast, and we're also going to pick up the commentary from the commentary of the on-site commentary. Obviously, it could be a little bit of an issue with getting sound out to the surfers in the water, because if we've got 20 to 25 knot winds, it's pretty hard for the surfers in the water to hear the actual scores that they need. So that's one of the things that it's just one of the things we just have to deal with. Absolutely. Anything else to add? Few extra curricular activities. I think I saw the Saturday night function, which looks like a banger. There's a Saturday night function down at the yard in Raglan. There's a Sunday morning. Kehu and Tom Carroll are going to be serving coffees on Sunday morning. At some point on the Sunday, there is going to be a Legends Heat, and that will include, I believe, Maz Quinn and Daniel Kiriopa and Tom Carroll and possibly some others. So we'll see how that plays out. At this stage, we're not absolutely wedded to the idea that we have to finish the finals on Sunday afternoon. So if we're, let's see, we'll just keep a really close eye on the conditions and how things play out. And it's not a given that we have to finish in those particular conditions or at that particular time. We'll play it as we see it.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on, Hutch. For everyone, make sure you follow via the Backdoor and Surfing New Zealand social media channels, and we'll be sure to share the Backdoor YouTube channel as well, so people can tune in live. And if you can make it to Manu Bay, it should be fun. Conditions might be challenging, but that's what we're there for. No, it's not going to be flat. We're not going to be
able to flat.
Nah.
There's no talk of going to Ruapuki.
Yeah. Perfect.
Awesome.
Thanks heaps, Hutch. Really appreciate it. Awesome.
See ya.
See you.